Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Orphan Black Season 4, Episode 3, The Stigmata of Progress. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Orphan Black, so I have to give a spoiler warning for Orphan Black up to Season 4, Episode 3. If you haven't seen up to this point, you may not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. So last week's episode kind of got us back into the jive of the present day story. However, this week's episode really brought back a lot of the more specific storylines from Season 3 back to the forefront, which is why I didn't like it. Because I'm not a fan of these storylines, like the Rachel storyline or the Fernand storyline. So instead of getting more Beth flashbacks or more scenes with MK, which I really was into, we get this crap. Plus it introduces more storylines that I'm not a fan of. So overall, I thought this episode represented a significant drop in quality, so I'm not quite as interested in what's going to come next this season after watching this episode. So let me start with what much of this episode did with the Rachel storyline. And I got to confess something. I never really cared for this Rachel character, and I started liking her less and less as the show went on, and it's gotten to the point where I really don't care about this character at all, and I'm just counting the seconds until she goes away every time that she appears on screen. There's this plot about her with some little girl who's a very special clone of her, and her mother's Professor Duncan, she thought it was dead, is back again, and she has a caster clone who's her personal servant. And to be honest, I can't really explain this plot that clearly because I don't really fully understand it myself, and it's mainly because I don't care about it. It seems really contrived, convoluted, and sloppy, and I just wish it would go away. And the other storyline I mentioned that I wasn't a fan of was the Felix's new relationship with his biological sister. And as I said last week, I thought the storyline made sense, but now that I see where they're going with it, I'm no longer interested in it. This character was so cliched and typical, as she was like the typical southern bumpkin, drunk. And the jealousy that Sarah has over her and the rift it creates between her, her and Felix, well, I think the whole thing's boring. And again, I just can't wait for this to be over. And I sincerely hope that she doesn't end up being a Neolutionist spy or involved in what's going on in any way, because I would find that super cliched and contrived. So let me touch on the Allison and Donnie subplot, which also involves Helena. I have to admit I'm really liking the chemistry between them, and I think that it works really well. It was interesting that the fact that Donnie killed Max Headroom, Dr. Leakey, was brought up again, and in fact finally came out. I love that scene where they confessed it to Cosima. It was hilarious how they tried to just skip right over it and get past that part like that doesn't really matter, and just wanted to get to the part about having the slugs in the cheeks be helpful, and Cosima was just like stunned trying to process it all, so it was quite funny. And in this episode overall, I was reminded again about how great an actor Tatiana Maslany is, as in this episode in particular. You get to see her play all these different characters, and they're very diverse, and to see them all interact with each other and sort of pretend to be other characters. I'm particularly interested in this dynamic they're building between Allison, Donnie, and Helena, as Allison still doesn't seem okay with Helena, but Helena seems to be getting better at imitating Allison. Her accent still gives her away, but I loved that cheesy Allison smile that Helena clearly tried to give when the police were around. That was really funny. So we also get a couple of scenes with Kira acting all weird, so I get the impression they're going somewhere with this. I hope the surprise isn't that she has one of those slugs too, because if she does, it would be quite stupid that Sarah and Siobhan already didn't check this, because it seems like something they should have checked as soon as they found the slug in Sarah's cheek. However, it seemed like she might have some sort of psychic abilities or ability to see the future, and if this is the case, I'd be okay with it. It seems a tad silly, but whatever. It's, it's obvious when Cosima thought she was sleeping that it was some sort of vision. We didn't get any more Beth flashbacks, but I don't think that means we won't get any more at all. I think we might get some later this season. However, we did get a few scenes with Art investigating Beth as he sees a recording of the Union rep guy who is the neo-illusionist mole. And more importantly, we see the guy in present time, so we know that he is indeed still alive. I feel he will be a major adversary this season, but it was quite stupid of Art to just walk up to him and ask him about Beth. Now, he's basically just alerted him to the fact that he's on to him, and that was just a really stupid thing to do, but whatever. So finally, we get to the Sarah storyline, which was kind of interesting, as she's of course freaked the fuck out about finding out that there's a slug in her cheek, and she can't find MK, but goes back to the dude she saw at the club before and gets a bit more information out of him, and eventually she puts together some details with Art investigating, and they found this dental office that she believes may be able to help her get the slug out. So when she goes there, a dentist there recognizes her as Beth. So apparently Beth had dealings with them before. So Sarah plays the role of Beth, but tells Sarah she has one of those thingies in her cheek. So the dentist offers to remove it, and Sarah blindly just goes ahead, puts herself at this stranger's mercy. A stranger who's acting extremely strange. I mean, I know Sarah's desperate to get rid of it, but come on, something's definitely really off about this person. And of course she threatens her, when she's in a vulnerable position. And to be frank, this scene terrified me because I had many painful visits to the dentist, so it's kind of, this hit a chord with me. But thankfully, Fernand shows up to save the day and kills the crazy dentist. Of course, Fernand isn't exactly a trustworthy person, but his interests happen to align with Sarah's at the moment, so it looks like they have an uneasy alliance. So overall, I like this storyline. I thought it showed promise, but we'll see. So my rating for the Stigmata of Progress out of 10 is a 5 average. This episode wasn't a total wash, as I really enjoyed the Sarah storyline, and I really enjoyed the Allison-Helena dynamic, and I'm reminded again of how great of an actor Tatiana Maslany is, and why she's the main reason I watch this show. But overall, I'm not too happy with the direction this episode took, and doesn't make me feel very optimistic about the rest of the season. And I hope it doesn't get too fake and convoluted, but we'll see where they go from here. So that's it for my review of the Stigmata of Progress. Be sure to check back here every week as I review episodes of Orphan Black, and be sure to check out my channel for many more videos on shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek, Fear the Walking Dead, and more. And be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.